Good afternoon, everyone. Apologies for the delay. We were supposed to start at 2:30, but due to some technical issues, we are starting 10 minutes late. Good afternoon to all the viewers. Good afternoon, Rohit. Uh, I hope आपका मन भर लिया है हम्म, और भी कुछ बाकी है.
Stocks have fallen a lot. That is true. There is no doubt about
हम्म,
it.
हम्म,
Nifty has not fallen as much as stocks. Uh, but then that could be a divergence, right? In the first fall in October, November, Nifty fell more
हम्म,
than mid caps. In the second fall, December, Jan, mid caps and small caps have fallen more. Have the two equated each other now? And is it sufficient? $1 million question. But seasonally, this is not a time where I would want to take risk. Ahead of the
हम्म,
budget, the Jan, Feb, March period, do I
correct.
want to
हम्म,
buy the dip and get involved? I will not be brave to call a bottom. In fact, I'm even finding it hard to call a bounce when I look at the incomplete wave structure, if I might put it that way. In fact, we've been now almost 8 days. We are stuck inside this range of 23,000 to 23,500. No, I did an almost 24-minute intraday video update today. Usually it's a 5-10 minute thing. This one really went on long. And the reason it went on long was that I had to really explain this point, that are we done, not done, why? And I used a lot of sentiment indicators. I'm not sure we can go into all of them right now. But the mute one, which is possibly making people think that, bahut ho gaya, is the FIAs are short. Uh,
Yeah,
and in
correct.
very small, this I can put it that, okay, they are short, but what stops them from adding more shorts? I mean, just 3 months ago in October, they had the highest long in 7 years. It didn't stop at that
Mm,
early previous high number. It went on and on and on. What will stop it
correct.
from going on the other side now that we are in a bear market? Oops, I said the bad word.
By the look of the things, what I can say is you are still not satisfied with this fall. और भी एंजॉय करना बाकी है आपको. But how bad is it going to be still? I mean, if you're sounding so bearish, how bad is it still left out in the market? What is the
See, let me be,
incomplete wave referring to?
so let me be first truthful. I mean, not satisfied or feeling happy, sad, and all is all just conjecture. People like to hear
Hmm,
that, and then they come and comment that देखो खुश हो रहा है सबको नुकसान करके and all that stuff. So
hmm.
it's something I would not get
But
into.
it's so nonsense, so we can talk. It's fine.
हाँ, so people come up with this kind of nonsense. But
Yes.
let me tell you, I spend every day thinking about bounce होएगा क्या. Not today, yesterday
Hmm,
also, day before also. Because when the Nifty doesn't fall so much, of course you get worried that, oh, the view is not going to follow through. What if it bounces? Arey, US is making a new high. What if before that Europe was making a new high? What if it doesn't happen? And the fact is कि 3 महीने से it has not been working. Every time US market
hmm,
rallied even between October and December. So our market is first of all doing something of its own. So I have to accept that. But I cannot remove fear because of all these factors. It's fallen too much, it may bounce. If I is a short, it may bounce. US is going up, it may bounce. Dollar तो गिर गया ना, top हो गया होगा. People have different charts
hmm.
telling them different things. I don't still see a trend reversal in the dollar. I still wonder whether S&P is just making a double top. I so see See, one thing is major bottom, minor bottom, short term, medium term. ये सब अलग अलग चीज है. If somebody says
Hmm.
major bottom हो गया यहाँ से one way तेजी है, then I think उनके लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम है. So because I'm finding it very hard to believe or digest that the worst is over in a barely much of a correction. You haven't hit 20% also. So While there can be gyrations and short covering rallies and all those things in between, major bottom though I will rule out. Now, having said that, in the very short term, if we don't go above certain levels, whatever that is, 23, 400, 500, 700, can keep having retracement, whatever. But opposite to that, you break on the downside. Let's say we break this, there's a neckline, right? There's a downward slanting head and shoulders pattern, very, very rare. Usually HNSs are upward slanting or flat. But when you
This
get a
is
downward slanting, it's very
slanting.
peculiar. I don't know how strong it is or not. But if you break that line, which is somewhere below 23,000, I think, what is the exact level? I should actually put out a number. It's around 22865 right now. Then what happens? Wouldn't it become a, you know, panic of sorts, free fall if that happens? That is what I wonder. So then it takes you back to the election lows, which is like 21,200, 300 range. If you get a free, if you end up in a free fall, will you end up in a free fall or not? I actually don't know. But whether it falls in a free fall or not, I will not buy anything today. That much is clear. लेने का नहीं है. गिरेगा कि नहीं वो भगवान जाने. कितना गिरेगा, आज गिरेगा, एक महीने बाद गिरेगा, लेने का नहीं है. Because somebody is, I don't know. It's a very uneasy feeling that when you have a very big bull run on high valuation, mid cap, small cap, everything doubling every few months. After that, somewhere a lot of money gets stuck. और वो निकल नहीं पाता है. That is the kind of feeling I feel the way the market is rolling over. Some stocks which are making new 52-week highs even this month or last month have suddenly rolled over. So it's like one after the other, everything has rolled over. Nothing is being left out. So everything is getting stuck. How do you in this scenario, when there's so much rotation, आज कुछ गिरेगा तो कुछ और बढ़ेगा, कुछ और बढ़ेगा, वो गिरेगा फिर कुछ और बढ़ेगा. Index is an average. चलेगा कैसे?
But Rohit, when was the last time you saw so much of divergence between the US and Indian market? I mean, this is I don't think so. This has happened to this extent. Something is it like terribly wrong with the Indian this one, or it
No,
has got
at
to do
every major top or bottom in the market, there is an intermarket divergence. Between October and January of 2007, 2008, the US market was falling because they topped out before us. Unlike this time where we have topped out first. They continued and we continued to rise till Jan 2008. You can look at the chart. It's actually like that for those 3 months. Okay. I was in Dubai at that time because Sher Khan sent us on a paid holiday event, event come paid holiday type of thing, Jan 2008. And I was there presenting in Dubai, ki dekho, and the same thing which people may be doing today. India falls less, when US falls. We rise more when they bounce back. We are outperforming. 2 days later, we hit lower circuit. And after that, next day, one more lower circuit. Okay. And this is Jan 2008. I'm sitting in Dubai, running a portfolio management services in Mumbai. Now, you may think, for people who don't know, may think, oh shit, kitta loss kiya hoga. No, we ended Jan 2008 with a positive return of more than 20% in both the funds we are running. And the reason is that we have levels, right? We have very clear strategy in place. So when I went to Dubai, I told my team, if the Nifty closes below 40 DMA, we should be 100% cash. And this is a long short fund. So we actually trade futures, long short. So therefore, it's not a investment fund. And so we have the strategy where we can completely go this way or that way. So because we were long some of the momentum names at that time in infra and whatever, real estate, Siemens, BHEL type of stocks, they had a positive return. Moment it closed below that level, even though I was in Dubai saying all this stuff, the portfolio was closed out. And the other side, we were running an index fund, which is long short, and it had an automated signal. It gave a short, we were short also on the market. So both funds ended up gaining in that particular month. So this is where execution versus thought process comes in. But the lesson here really is that this kind of a divergence doesn't last. One of the two markets has to give up. Either India is wrong or US is wrong. Okay.
Mm.
And these kind of divergences always happen when you have a major topping process happening, long-term topping process happens. So that is where you get a divergence. Or bottoming also. Same thing. Like you can go back to March 2009. India didn't make a new low compared to November 2009 on the Nifty. Okay. It did in Bank Nifty, but not in Nifty. But US did. US made its lowest point in March 2009. India made a higher bottom. Okay, so we didn't make a lower bottom. So there was a what we call a classic intermarket divergence. So
Divergence.
now we are
Okay.
facing the opposite of that. India topped out first, US is rising, opposite of 2008. But at some point of time, I believe US will also top out because this is not the bottom end of the range, right? We are at the end of a 2 year bull run. So I would consider the divergence as a bearish divergence because it's at the end of a rally, not at the start of a rally. Otherwise, you could have said it's a bullish divergence. So the
Mm.
presumption would be it's a bearish divergence. Uh, yeah, you can get lucky that India catches up with the world. I mean, you can hope
Mm.
for that, but that's not what
Yes.
you would believe in based on classic theory.
Mm. So you were also talking about the incomplete wave count. So it's very clear that we are in C wave. Okay, the first leg was 5 waves. Next B, and then there was a small bounce, and then we again started falling. So where do we stand now? I mean, in terms of wave counts, if you want to share your screen.
So the counter argument to the C wave is basically that it's not C and B is still going on. So let me first give the counter argument. And people have asked me this for the last 2 months. They've been asking me whether, uh, and I'll just try to take a line so that I can, yeah. See, people have been asking me since here whether this will do this. Then it came down here, they said, oh, whether it will do this. And even now, because it's still here, this hope will remain. Uh, because it's not falling, below this line or below 138% of this rise, still it doesn't really significantly break down. This idea is remaining on the cards. Now, this is the most optimistic idea. Okay. Then we'll go into whether if it is already in C, then have we done 5 waves down? That becomes the next question. Okay, this is one, this is two. We had not achieved 3 quality. Okay, 3 was still shorter than 1 for till day before. This last fall that we had is now made 1 and 3 equal. So there is a possibility, Chavan, that maybe 3 is over and we are just doing 4 right now. In which case, it usually peaks out near the 4th wave and should not overlap with this. So it shouldn't go above 23,400. Okay, and then 5 down is still pending.
Okay.
But
Mm.
the most bearish scenario is, which I have not even put on the chart actually, is that this is not even 3-4. Okay,
This is just okay.
1 of 3 and 2 of 3. Why? Because the third wave is short. Okay. Now I can still argue that third is short, so fifth be short banega, and then it will
Mm.
bounce, and this
What
will
if
end
it
up
is
being
one
a
of, yeah,
leading diagonal.
correct. Yes, this is what I
हो
am
सक
also thinking.
हो सकता है. I'm not see. It's not ruled out. I'm not saying it's ruled
Mm.
out. And when would the fifth become larger than the third is way lower. So it'll take a long time before we can even confirm something like that.
Mm.
So
But
yeah, this is also possible.
mm.
Uh, but let's see. I would say don't presume anything. There are
So
two,
how do
three
you
alternate counts open. There are 2, 3 alternate counts open. The only way you trade this is using Rohit's trade setup and trailing with a stop loss. There is no other way. If there was a better way, I would have told you. Because if you don't trail, you will not get the most out of this move. For example, I mean, see, when you have 2, 3 outcomes, you may say yeah, then you'll say, nah, यहाँ पे काट के bounce आएगा. What if it becomes 1, 2, 3? Then
mm.
it will go into 9 waves. Then what will you do?
Mm.
Then you have no strategy.
So if you have, what you're saying is if you have an open position, just trail it, but it's
I
difficult
mean,
to
I don't
predict from.
know. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, correct. Mm.
And the
But
only
as
way
you
to deal with your fear, the only way to deal with your fear is hedge it.
Mm.
If you
And as
if
an
you have a
investor, you,
and as an investor, go on a holiday.
yeah.
I mean, Jan, Feb, March, best time of the year to go on a holiday. India में गर्मी हो रहा है, इधर Bombay is hot. You know,
Mm.
it's like 28 degrees in winter.
Mm.
Go on a holiday. Go to Himachal. Go somewhere. I don't know.
You have a full-fledged office in Bangalore. Why don't you think of shifting to Bangalore then?
कितना ठंड है उधर?
Um,
What is the
mm,
climate? बता दो.
climate तो बढ़िया है.
बढ़िया है. You get 20 degrees.
Uh, no, now the honeymoon period is over. It started to get hot here.
वही तो
Mm.
मुश्किल है ना. This whole global warming and forget global warming. It is overdoing our
I
cities.
I hope it will not be as hot as it was previous year. In Bangalore, it was terrible last year. So,
Hmm.
anyways, coming back, Rohit. Uh,
So coming back, look at this trend line. Now we are watching this all day. This is the tightest trend line
mm,
we can draw. This trend, this high to this high.
mm,
वहां पे ही रुका है.
mm,
अब इसके ऊपर जाएगा तो you will have some short term further तेजी.
mm.
Otherwise, it could even fall from here. Now, how much it will fall depends on the count that you're using. And there are, I think, 2, 3 alternate open counts, and that is why I cannot come to any single conclusion.
Got it.
And
Okay.
that takes us to the other one which I'm hearing, and this is related to the dollar. Okay. A dollar में people with this Trump coming and the dollar correcting, everybody thinks हो गया. तो
Mm,
डॉलर बढ़ा ही क्यों था? क्यों बढ़ा था? Some people say it was because of Trump will put tariffs. So now he's not putting tariffs. Which narrative? What are you drinking? Did he say I'm not putting any more tariffs? That was all fake news. Did he say that?
mm,
Now, how are people coming and saying डॉलर तो टॉप हो गया, डॉलर तो टॉप हो गया? तो बढ़ा क्यों था फिर? नहीं, वो इसलिए बढ़ा था क्योंकि यूएस में डेट बहुत है, तो कम हो गया. नहीं, वो कम कर देगा.
mm,
करके तो दिखाओ. How do
mm.
you reduce debt? You cut expense. You
There's no
cut
way.
expense. The
There's no
economy will
way.
slow
Yeah.
down. I mean, there is no logic left.
No logic. Mm,
So let us see what he does. But I see this as a very simple. I've marked it here. ABC correction हो गया. ABC correction हो गया. Dollar is bottomed. Unless we see a 5-wave decline in the dollar, the trend up should resume, and we are on our way to 110, 115, 120, whatever.
okay.
So this is the
Talking about
risk. Yeah,
mm.
yeah.
So
Tell
talking
me.
about other index, why don't you cover even the Bitcoin? I mean, do you expect a correction now that it has done so
I
much?
actually don't know, because I'll tell you the Bitcoin wave count now that says that it will go higher. See, I've marked it on this chart. Okay. But I
Wow.
was trying to
Mm,
be looking at the dollar, I was trying to be bearish on Bitcoin in between. It
correct.
didn't work out. Okay, it didn't work
Mm,
out. The count still says 1 2 1 2 3 4. That means 3 4 5 baki hai. Something is left, which means
mm,
that it will do something different than the market. But it's very hard because when you see the whole market fall and then it sells off, then it's very hard to hang on to this idea. So it can completely
mm,
go wrong. And so I will
mm,
not take any bet on it right now against the market because believe it or not, it's become a mainstream asset class. And a mainstream asset class cannot move against liquidity beyond a point of time. And if liquidity tightens and everything is falling, I cannot have Bitcoin going up. So that is, I'm not able to digest that idea. So therefore, I will not bet on it unless I'm very sure that the whole world is going up. And by whole
mm.
world, I mean not just equities, commodities also. See, things have to stabilize. Dollar has to stabilize. All that has to work for Bitcoin.
Yep. So before we take up the Q&A, Rohit, last time when we met, you said that abhi small cap, mid cap girna baki hai. I mean, it's considerably last 2 weeks it has got beaten down. So do you think it will continue from here?
So स्मॉल कैप मिड कैप का करेक्शन बेयरली शुरू भी हुआ है अभी. बेयरली शुरू. ओके.
Hmm.
पीपल से करेक्शन हो गया. ओके. तो पोजीशन कटा क्यों नहीं?
Hmm.
The futures open interest relative to the index, and now I'm going to use strike. For anybody who's not using strike, cannot see this chart or follow it on an updated basis, either they have to be in Strike or they have to be on Indiacharts, where I will write about it. If you're not on these platforms, you will not see this stuff. I don't know. You can see my screen. Why didn't I share it? One
No,
second.
you
Let
have
me
to share. Yeah.
share my screen again. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm going to go to something known as the index to futures open interest.
Mm, hold
Okay. I
on.
put out this discuss. I've been discussing this chart last few days. Okay. And I
Mm,
usually put it on a log scale also.
mm,
And I don't mind even drawing a channel from say 2018, and I'll explain why, so that we know where we are in terms of the trend overall. And then we extend this channel to the right hand side, extend left, right. Okay, okay. Uh, so this basically what has happened here. Okay, maybe I'm not drawing it correctly. Okay, we'll come back to it. But what has happened here is, even as the market is falling,
mm.
this is going to a new all-time high. What does it mean? It means that people are not cutting their position in the futures market even as it's falling. And second, they are even buying the dip.
Yeah.
And that buying the dip can be seen over here in the most recent futures open interest chart.
Mm,
You can actually see this. Now, some of it you may associate with here because it was shorting, but most of the increase has come over here in this phase, this
mm.
increase. And that has pushed this chart to a new high. So basically, there is no capitulation. If mid caps have fallen so hard, there should be some capitulation. This should come down. I feel if this was a bubble in small caps and valuations, it can't end without a capitulation in this. Either that theory is wrong, you know, or else this theory is wrong.
Mm. Okay, so guys whoever is live, you can start asking your questions. Before we start getting the questions, you can type in the comment section. Start asking the questions. Before we take up the Q&A, one last thing: autos and oil and gas. This is the only thing which I've holded on right now. Do you think that will continue, Rohit? Of course, pharma and uh, again FMCG, which is almost the most safest thing. These are the four sectors which have actually not fallen much over the last 1 month. If you look at our heat map, strike heat map. So, what is your view?
No place to hide. Not even FMCG pharma now. अभी FMCG लगता है बीच बीच में, but I have mentioned this is only way. Any bounces B, and then when you get results like you got yesterday in HUL, तो B इधर से ही C शुरू हो जाएगा. You won't get a
Hmm,
significant B. Then what will we do? So I will not take a bet there. Pharma, now you're seeing stocks in pharma falling in 5 years. So pharma index
hmm,
made a double top and has started to fall. So OB performance is gone.
hmm,
So you the only last argument left is, will pharma fall less than mid caps? If you have to
ah,
buy something, then you will try to take that kind of a call.
hmm,
I I don't do those things. I'm not a mutual fund manager. When I ran PMS, I ran absolute
hmm,
return funds. So I don't do relative performance. That's not my forte or my objective. So I will not give a
hmm,
relative performance view. कि ये कम गिरेगा ये ले लो. Doesn't exist. But if you have to buy something after one more sell off in gold, I will look at gold. But there should be one more sell off. Wave C in gold also is pending. If I get a wave C in gold, then I will probably look at gold somewhere in the next few months. Maybe March will be a good time to focus on gold.
okay, gold. Okay. Hmm. But usually December month, January, actually it bottoms out. But we have been saying
But
this, so it will
this
continue.
time it is, instead of bottoming out, it is at the high. Na? It is still doing wave B.
Yeah.
See, if you look at the chart, I think most people may not know a 5 wave decline from a. Let me again share my chart for the nth time. Okay, you can take some questions also. See, this is a 5 wave fall here in gold, which I've marked as A. I don't know visually it looks the most cleanest, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so iska matlab hai whatever is happening here, however long it takes, it is B only. Unless you take out this high, then the view is wrong. But it is B, and that means that eventually C below this has to happen. Whether it happens here, whenever it happens, it doesn't matter when and how much time B takes. Okay, but C is a pending wave, and that's why I said March. So seasonally, you're right that December or January is a top, but there is something known as seasonal inversion. Sometimes the opposite happens. So if it is not a top, it ends up becoming a bottom. If it's not a bottom, it ends up becoming a top. So March has seen many tops. December has seen many bottoms. I'm saying you are seeing inversion right now. And maybe if it sells off in C, March will become a bottom instead of a top. So seasonality will just invert.
Okay, the only question which we can take up, the rest of them, they're asking everything about stock section.
Stocks.
Unfortunately, we cannot take it up. Anish is asking RBI, will they cut the rates? Appears dicey. And will that further bring the negativity in the market?
ये Indian bond yield है. It tried to go up, but it's again back down. But more than that, you should watch the global bond yields. I have a couple of them here which I look at all the time. Starting with US 10-year, it's taken support at the 40 days, bouncing back. German just took support at the 20-day. British took support at the 40-day. Japanese took support at the 20-day, is already up for the last 3 days. If these bond yields are going up, forget about interest rate cut. But yeah, government can give a fatwa to RBI, काटना ही पड़ेगा, तो ठीक है. Then the rupee will fall and the market will fall, both. So if they do a rate cut in February, on that day the stock market may fall 500 points. Now chalo, I've left people to come back and troll me on this one. Let's see what happens. If you haven't seen a rate cut and a stock market fall happening simultaneously, go back to 2012. Even RBI took at least 3-4 rate cuts before they could stabilize the market. So it's not a so the time when rate cuts work is when you have a bullish environment. Then every rate cut is bullish. But once a negative environment comes in where growth is not there, it doesn't take one rate cut to turn the table. That is the main point.
Absolutely.
So the first rate cut is admitting कि हाँ हम हमारी लग गई है. That is the first rate cut. So when they do the first rate cut, it will be RBI admitting कि हमारी growth की लग गई है. Till that point, they are not admitting it, and the market will take that exactly like that. कि हाँ लग गई है, अब बेचो. So, and the rupee will fall. So imagine the secondary effect. That moment you lower rates in this environment, the rupee will fall to a new low. On that day itself, it will go down 50 paisa. So now, which RBI governor is going to take that risk? Let's see. On the contrary, if you ask me, they're going to raise rates. Not now. But to save the rupee, they will eventually raise rates. Because this is the rupee. A dollar index 40 day तक आ गया. इसका हिला भी नहीं इधर. क्या करोगे इसको? तो रेट कट करोगे इसको. ये तो खुशी खुशी से ऊपर जाएगा. And because they have done away with retail investors, we cannot even take advantage of this. So the only way we can take advantage of this is
gold mine. Gold futures.
So at least gold MCX prices are almost back to the high, even though not in dollar terms. So that is possible. But the reason I don't look at the MCX prices, USD helps, but when it falls in dollar terms, it doesn't help. But the downside is protected because of USD INR. So even if it falls in dollar terms, it may not fall as much in rupee terms because USD INR will go up. So that is the protection we have. So that's why I said that for Indians, gold is the protection, not pharma and yes, that is not a protection.
Okay. Praveen is asking, you earlier mentioned current correction similar to 2021. Is the opinion still valid?
That's just an alternate. I mean, it can be, it can't be. I never said it will be. No. I have said Go read the long short report. I will not tell you what I said.
Mm.
Where do you read the long short report? Go to indiacharts.com, subscribe to India Charts Club, and read it. And watch Weekend with India Charts, because I've said that loud and clear what to prepare for.
Okay, the last question before we wind up, views on IT sector. It seems like a minor wave two up before the next leg down starts.
It's already done 1-2, started 3-1, 3-2, something like that. So I think the IT index is showing breakdown, even though Wipro may have made a new high today and all. The IT index has started to fall. I think it has a 5-wave fall, initial bounce. Then it broke the 5-wave fall low, but the fall was smaller. So I'm saying 1-2, 1-2, or ABC1, C2, something like that. It's already in downtrend. The index is already in downtrend. Individual stocks may vary.
Okay, Rohit, let's cut the nonsense. 30 minutes into the show, before people start cursing us the way all the bearish talks is going on. People are, you know, so. But
Yeah, with all the bearish
any
stock
piece
market should
of
go up.
uh,
I said with all the bearish stock market should go up.
uh,
Let's see.
yes,
And it's
absolutely.
okay.
But
I will
any,
prepare for both. I will stay prepared for an up move, but I will not bet
mm,
on it. See, that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Prepare for up move, prepare for down move. Have a
have a plan. Have a plan.
huh?
Yeah, you're at
Have a
that
plan,
stage where you have a plan on both the sides.
but don't have a plan
Yeah,
of being long only. That is disaster.
mm, got it. So it's kind of dicey, but have a plan for both is what Rohit is saying. So with this, let's end the uh, what is this fourth session of markets and nonsense. Last week we skipped it. Next week we are not going to do it. Every Thursdays 2:30 will be live. Thank you so much to all the viewers. You know, have a great weekend. It's not been a smooth last 2 3 months, but hang on. Good times is yet to come. You know, thank you so much once again. Uh, Thank you, Rohit, for being very, very bearish. Uh, I
Maybe
still
people
remember
people
2021
might
when
want
I
to
was.
know whether you are with me or not. They can't make out.
No, no, no. I'm with you. Okay, but the thing is, I can recall myself in 2021 how bearish I was. People used to started calling me actually a bear. You know, they started
Hmm.
trolling me like, mad. Anyways, thanks, Prakash, for the wonderful words. We'll continue doing this every week, Thursdays, 2:30. Rohit, with this, thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Don't buy the dip. Yeah, there are too many people on Twitter calling a bottom and saying buy the dip. So let me be the contrarian and tell you, don't buy the dip. Go with the FIs. They are short. Stick with them.
Okay. Thank
Tough.
you. Bye
Very
bye. Yeah, I
very
know.
tough to be a bear in this environment. I'll tell you that also. But the market is not relenting.
Mm. But good times is yet to come, Rohit. Ultimately, Teji ही होएगा on the longer run.
In every 10 years, bear markets last for only 2 years. So in a
2
10-year
years.
period, you're going to have 8 years of Teji. Those 2 years are where you have to survive.
Just hang on, hang on. Don't give up, guys. We'll be back. I'm not bull, but yeah, the bulls will be back eventually somewhere. But how far is it? I don't know. Let's see how it
Yeah,
goes with this.
being
Thank you
bullish
so much.
is super because bull markets last for years. You can make money being long every year after year. I mean, nobody hates bull markets, and we were bullish from COVID till a few months back, except for some bearishness in 21, 22. We turned the
Mm.
table in March 23. I think, in fact, from Jan only, I was early. Unfortunately, I'm always early, but we stuck with it till October, and so that's pretty much what we did. So I stake claim on that with a lot of right wrongs in between. I'm not getting into the short term highs, lows, some variations, but overall that was the view. And now I think it's time to just chill, stay out, stay away, enjoy. chill. If you can trade, trade, but if you can't, chill. Don't try to do what you are not good at.
Yeah,
Chill.
absolutely.
With that, thank you everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.